National Coordinator in Tanzania. I do coordinate rules and issues in the rest of Africa as well. So the global climate change is an issue that is now growing across the world. So all continents, countries, communities, villages, townships, and everywhere. So people from different areas, different economic classes, they do face, and the impact are becoming very obvious today. So we see that global climate change is now becoming a growing global concern. Now, when we are talking about addressing the issues of global climate change, one of the issues that comes as a pillar is the climate action agenda. So climate agenda number 13 calls for an action that is to be very robust, that needs to be taken into accounts to involve quite a number of people. Now we know that it is now becoming very critical for the climate action to take place today, because the generation we are in today has to face the actions to take up the responsibility to curb the growing climate impact before it is late. So we have seen, and it is growing around the world today, that the impact of climate change and the number of people becoming vulnerable to the climate change impacts is growing. And because of that, the coordinated efforts is needed. So we have seen the irregularities of rains today in different parts of the world. People who are living now in the forested areas now are facing rain scarcity. People who are living along the coast, they are also facing the number of fish uptakes, but also the underwater marine product regime is also changing. So we see the rise of the sea level. The mountainous people are also facing the ice melting incidences. The people in the flatlands, in the dryland areas, they do face a lot of droughts and also other extremities. So we see the impact and the implications. Poverty is one of them. Economic irregularities and the differences is also becoming very obvious and notable. So we see the growing number of people are becoming vulnerable to the global climate change. And because of that, Agenda 13 becomes very critical, because it helps us address, along with the other 16 agenda, on the issue to necessitate the implementation of the policy agreements towards the sustainable development. So Roots and Shoots Tanzania and the rest of the world is actually taking the climate actions through different activities and also campaigns. In Tanzania, for example, we have started a robust program on reforestation and the tree planting campaigns. So we are planting 2 million trees around the country. We have a lot of nursery establishments, establishment of deforested area, recovery, boundary planting, arboretum, woodlots, but also village forest reserves, and we are doing street planting. We also have mangrove restoration programs, and also we have special restoration programs adjacent to the national parks and also forestry reserves. So we encourage hundreds and thousands of young people to take part of this movement. And because already we have 500,000 Roots and Shoots members around the country, it gives us like a power to influence the change of the rehabilitations towards undertaking the climate change in action. So I call upon teachers from all around Tanzania and the rest of Africa to join hand with this. We are partnering with the Take Action Global to take part in curbing up the growing carbon emission through reforestation development program. We are also joining hands with the United Nations and the other international conservation organizations to try to raise up the awareness and also try to take some practical measures to implement the climate action interventions. So we have a very exciting campaign that the Take Action Global has actually initiated that calls for involvement of teachers in schools. Because in Tanzania we have a network of 3,000 teachers. We have hundreds of youth leaders and volunteers taking action together. So we would like to invite you on the link that the Take Action Global has actually provided to us to participate in actually implementing some action-oriented projects and campaigns. Just take up a clip or video of your group, of yourselves, doing some actions to address the climate change impacts, and then share that link with the rest of the network in the platform. Take Action Global with the other conservation organizations will actually upload, will access, will also communicate the evidence of what you have done to try to save the world. This is probably the most suitable time for each one of us to pay the price, to do something to help before it is late. So please join us into this, and I wish you a very successful campaign, and I welcome you to join us, to subscribe, to follow the link that the Take Action Global has actually introduced to us, and be part of this movement.